All right, let's begin this 7 p.m. This is exclusive with some very exclusive inputs coming in from Maharashtra on the government formation. Engineering a saffron sweep in the key battleground state after the insipid showing in the last general elections. Devendra Fadnavis is being hailed as the comeback man for the BJP and the Mahayuti. Meanwhile, a bit of blame game erupted in the Mahavikas Aghadi, with the Congress openly pointing fingers at allies Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray and the Sharad Pawar faction of the NCP. In between all this, our senior editor Shravan Seth spoke to the NCP Ajit Pawar group strategist Naresh Arora a while back. There are some exclusive elements as to the campaign of NCP and the Mahayuti by which they could turn around from the Lok Sabha debacle and come back to power in Maharashtra. Take a look.
The man behind scripting the victory for the NCP, Ajit Pawar, Naresh Arora, political strategist. Thank you very much, Mr. Arora, for joining us on Republic TV. Let me straight away begin by asking you, the Lok Sabha results essentially resulted with just 6 assembly segments. This is seen as a massive surprise. Was it a surprise for you, or your internal surveys already indicated that you were well poised?
No, it wasn't a surprise for us at all, because that is what we were working for since last 5 months, and that is what we were aiming for. Yes, there could have been a couple of more seats here and there. Other than that, we were well on track. I had been in my off-the-record conversations with media fraternity also been indicating that the 35 to 40 mark is something what we are looking at, and that is what we were brought in. That is what we had to work for, and so there was no surprise at all in that.
I believe that largely that you've credited this victory to certain welfare schemes that were introduced by the Mahayuti government. But having said that, are we oversimplifying it by simply saying that one particular scheme aimed at the women voters was the reason why this victory was scripted?
Well, women hold a massive power over the outcomes of elections since long time. But this time over, yes, this scheme was a transformational scheme. And another good and interesting thing which has happened when we see the outcome of this election is that Maharashtra, being a progressive state that it's been, it has voted above caste lines. Right. Before the election, there was a lot of chatter about X agitation and Y agitation and what consolidation this side and that side. I am personally very happy to see that I'm not a very big fan of voting happen ignoring the issues which should be accounted for when you are voting, and some traditional yardsticks coming in as a voting metric. So that yardstick, I think, with this scheme has been redesigned, reorganized, and it is a good news for Maharashtra. Maharashtra shows the way to the state in many aspects. I hope this is one of them.
Let's also now look at the brass tacks of it. The seats that you were basically looking at, some of them were difficult to pull it off, particularly keeping in mind that Sharad Pawar in the end of the campaigning had ended up in a vitriolic, many would say vitriolic campaigning that actually took place. What really has changed? The dust has settled. I'm assuming that you've done perhaps an analysis of what has really worked for you. Give us a sense of those seats which you thought were not your way.
We've not really had that much of time to analyze, but on the surface of it, what I see, because we were managing the election seat by seat, and there were some hard seats which I would have accounted as C category seats, and out of those few C category seats, one or two surprised even me. Having spent some time on those seats personally, I had been visiting the constituencies almost every day. So when I saw the results, the fights were neck to neck, and at the end of it, we passed the finishing line. They did surprise me a bit, but then I was very confident about this fact that this scheme which the government had rolled out and the kind of campaigns that had been taken out, especially over the last 5 months. It was not just that election campaign or during elections our leaders were out, our workers were out, or the candidates were out. I'm sure you would know that there was a Jan Samman Yatra which was taken out 4 months back, in which Mr. Ajit Pawar himself was leading the yatra on the ground, and he covered almost 40 to 50 constituencies, in which he spent considerable time. It was not just, they were not just worker meetings, or they were not just public rallies. He spent time, he spoke to people, he spoke to cadres, he spoke to his alliance partner workers and office bearers as well. So everything was meticulously planned, and once the plans started falling in place, we could see the momentum coming our way and the scheme getting the desired outcome as the political parties would wanting. So in the quest to win those seats, I think these factors did play. And yes, I am again going to reiterate that a couple of seats did surprise me, because we were counting them in C category. But the work which happened during these 4-5 months, and especially in the last few weeks, I think that has resulted out in a favorable manner.
Let's also talk about the fact that there was a narrative that was built during the entire election, particularly by the opposition parties, that for the NCP, Ajit Pawar, BJP was never a natural alliance. And the fact that perhaps was the weakest link in the Mahayuti. There were also talks that he was in touch with Sharad Pawar. There was a possibility that he would switch over. Unreliable was a big factor. Was there a single moment at some point in time you felt cornered by the BJP, or you believed that the NCP was perhaps an integral part of the Mahayuti?
I didn't get any feeling of BJP cornering NCP in my meetings, in the meetings I was a part of, or overall in 5 months. The alliance partners were very clear that everyone has a role. Everyone was supposed to play that role. Whether the alliance is natural or not, that is for people to decide. Mr. Ajit Pawar has been taking certain ideological stands, which he believes personally in. They might not be on the same page with other alliance partners, but that doesn't matter. That sometimes we agree to disagree. The common goal, what they had allied for, was the development, was stability. And on that account, I think they did fairly well, especially in the constituencies which we were managing, or which NCP was contesting. They had a fairly phenomenal record in every constituency, and that was only possible because they were in power. They could have those funds, they could get the development agenda out, and other parties also, I think, did fairly well in their own constituencies with the development work. Yes, there can be certain disagreements on certain ideas and certain issues, but then they sit down and resolve. But we never felt cornered. We always felt that they were in NCP was given due respect, and at the end of the day, all the respect or disrespect comes from how much people vote for you, how much people support you. So once the verdict is out yesterday, so I think these questions have been settled now.
Sir, what is the reason for your defeat?
Well, we are also not able to analyze it. It is very difficult to analyze. The scene on the ground was something else, and the results are completely indifferent in that.
Actually, you failed to claim actually a leader of opposition position also.
Yeah, that has happened. Unfortunately, we are not able to believe all this.
All right, a lot of analysis happening, dissection happening of the Maharashtra results. Even some of the political parties are still trying to comprehend the scale of the verdict in favor of, or the mandate in favor of the BJP. Joining us live is our senior editor Shravan Sen. He has been covering Maharashtra elections there from the ground, and he's in Mumbai. Shravan, now all eyes on who becomes the chief minister. Essentially, the focus is shifting from dissection to forward-looking project of who the chief minister of Maharashtra would be, and hence on the Mahayuti. What's your sense over the last 24 hours, the way things have panned out? Are we going to see continuity or change insofar as the CM post is concerned?
Well, in that case, Abhishek, let me just take you through what information are we picking up from each of the camps. Let's begin with the NCP Ajit Pawar camp, because this morning around 11:30 is when the meeting actually took place, and it was unanimously decided that he is going to be the leader of the legislative party, Ajit Pawar. We are being told that in fact their party support has already been extended to the Bharatiya Janata Party, and also the fact that Ajit Pawar, remember, has an equation with Devendra Fadnavis. I am given to understand from sources within the NCP NCP camp is that they've essentially pushed across the fact that BJP perhaps should be leading the Mahayuti this time, and they would rather want Ajit Pawar as the Deputy Chief Minister and Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister. Now let me just take you through what's happening within the Shiva Sena, the Shinde camp. In fact, there are murmurs right now. You've had their cabinet ministers, starting from Deepak Kesarkar to a senior leader like Pratap Sarnaik, essentially sending across a message that there should be continuity, and the continuity should be in the face of Eknath Shinde. There is also a section within the BJP, let me remind you this, within the BJP too, that is essentially pushing this entire narrative that perhaps the continuity should be in the face of Eknath Shinde. Now that is only because, remember, that happens to be the rival gang within the BJP, those who are against Devendra Fadnavis. But having said that, remember, the brass tacks of it, Devendra Fadnavis has been able to script a historical win for the Bharatiya Janata Party, something that they could not even do it when there was a Modi wave back in 2014. So this, not only because of the fact that there are several other organizations who have come together to be able to script this victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party, but the fact of the matter is that he is, after all, the face of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Let me also quickly share one simple anecdote with you, Abhishek, because I was speaking to a senior BJP leader a short while back for the last 40 minutes to understand what really worked for the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this is a very interesting anecdote. They say that when Nanabhau Patele made this comment about the Ladki Behna scheme, saying that they are going to remove the scheme, his close aide went to the court to get it quashed. BJP, very interestingly and very smartly, what they did was took a copy of the affidavit or the petition that was filed by Nanabhau Patele's close aide, and they started distributing this to every household, particularly in the Vidarbha region, saying that, look here, this is what the Congress basically stands for, the fact that they will be taking away the schemes from them. Right. Same goes with the communication that they did with regards to Uddhav Thackeray, because they were basically citing the fact that when Uddhav Thackeray came to power, 15 schemes that were introduced by Devendra Fadnavis were basically removed by Uddhav Thackeray. So that's the kind of work that went in soon after the debacle that they saw in the Lok Sabha.
Okay. Shravan, a quick response. You think that this would be amicably sorted, because it seems that there is some possibility of confrontation with the kind of positions the Shiv Sena and the BJP have taken, wanting continuity and wanting change?
Well, the Bharatiya Janata Party will find it extremely difficult to perhaps not go with Devendra Fadnavis at this point in time. If you go by the camp of Devendra Fadnavis, they are very clear that the support has come in from Ajit Pawar. Ajit Pawar, in fact, has also put in a condition that Devendra Fadnavis should be leading it and not Eknath Shinde. Now, that's again source-based information coming in from the NCP camp as well as Devendra Fadnavis's camp. The only bit of twist that we can expect is the fact that you already have a meeting that is currently underway at Tajland's end, where we are basically reporting from, where Eknath Shinde is going to be meeting the party legislators. You've already had the party legislators indicating that there should be a continuity. So how does the central leadership really look into it? Because we are being told that the legislative meeting of the Bharatiya Janata Party is likely to happen sometime tomorrow. The observers are supposed to come in. So far, there is no official confirmation as to who are the observers who are going to come, but that's going to happen only tomorrow. But it's very, very unlikely right now until something drastically changes and something that the central leadership goes in for a different direction. It is going to be Devendra Fadnavis as the Chief Minister of Maharashtra.